Hello. Today I chose the Common Sense Media lesson, Safety in My Online Neighborhood. This lesson is targeted for kindergarten age grade level, as that's the grade level I hope to teach. And the reason why I chose this lesson is because I'm just proactively trying to prevent and keep my students safe while browsing online and letting them, not accidentally wander onto a site you don't want them to see. And when in doubt, ask an adult. So the lesson will be taught with various things. We'll go through the slideshow here, and there's some nice little extras along the way. We have some videos, some questions, a fun little activity at the end. So maybe some additional resources we'll also use are sending out some handouts home with mom and dad. The ISTE educator standard that is met by teaching this lesson is that of citizenship. And the ISTE student standard met when this lesson is taught is that of digital citizenship. Excuse me. So the educator standard is citizenship. The student standard it applies to is digital citizenship. And now we'll be going through the lesson. So, safety in my online neighborhood. Here we go. We're going to start with how do you go places safely online? That's the question we're addressing today is safety. So the first thing we'll ask is, what do you need to do to stay safe when you visit new places? We'll invite students to respond at this point, and we'll probably get a couple of different answers, but the three main safety rules that you want to keep reinforcing are always go places with an adult, don't wander off on your own, and talk only with people you know. Next, I'll say something along the lines of, today we're going to talk about how visiting places on the internet is a lot like visiting places in real life. Just like there are rules to keep safe when you visit new places in the world, there are ways to keep yourself safe online. Next, we're going to go into a little vocab lesson and define what online means. Online is using a computer, phone, or tablet to visit a website or app. Next, we're going to watch the video, My Online Neighborhood. As we are kind of pressed for time, I will speed up the playback speed. So, oops, excuse me, I accidentally bumped the slide. So after watching that video, we're gonna invite the students to have a little bit of discussion about what we just saw. So we'll ask, what did ARMS like about the internet? And what kind of things can ARMS do on the internet? So, you might hear a couple different responses here, but some examples would be that we just watched from the video is he likes to visit cool places. He can talk to his family and friends. He can learn lots of new things, and he can create things on the internet. Uh, Then we're going to go on to ask, what three rules does Arms follow when he goes places online? Next, we're going to go over the three rules. At this point, I would invite three of my students to volunteer and each one read one rule. So our rules are: one, always ask your parent or adult you trust first. Two, only talk to people you know. Three, stick to places that are just right for you. And, we need to explain what just right means maybe in more detail, but just right means something that's age appropriate and, you know, not something inappropriate for kids at a kindergarten age to be viewing. So, after that, we're going to move on to this amazing poem by Jenny Pritchett called Safety Rules. So, now we're going to learn a short poem to help us remember the rules for staying safe. First, I'll read the poem and then we'll read it together. So, I'm going to read the poem aloud with my students, and they should follow along with the actions. So, we need to be safe whenever we're online, so we follow these rules to have a good time. One, we hold up one finger and say, always ask your parents first. Two, hold up two fingers and say, only talk to people you know. And three, hold up three fingers, stick to sites just right for you, and we'll be safe wherever we go. This poem poster is a great resource to use in your classroom. You could hang it up and keep kids actively engaged in this concept throughout the rest of the year. Then we're going to discuss taking an internet field trip. So the computer makes it possible for you to visit faraway places without ever leaving the classroom. So we're going to go through a little more vocabulary. We're going to define a website as a place you can visit on the internet. We're going to explain to students that on the internet, you can go to apps or real places like zoos and museums. These places may be far from where we live, but they can be visited online. So as a class, next I would choose a website to explore. I'd probably pick something along the lines of the San Diego Zoo because I love the Panda Cam. And then after we go through our little website field trip, we're going to ask what's the first rule before turning on a device or opening up a website or app. Invite students to share, reminding them that they must always ask for permission from an adult before using a device or visiting a website or app. So after exploring, we're going to ask, after exploring our websites, how did we follow the three safety rules when we visited the sites? And finally, in closing, we're going to say, today we talked about how the internet allows us to visit faraway places. We learned that traveling to new places on the internet is a lot like going places in real life. We also learned three important safety rules when visiting websites or apps. At this point, I'm going to distribute this pause and think moment. I'm going to ask each one of my students to draw a picture of themselves following one of the three rules that we discussed today, and write a word or sentence to explain what's happening in that picture. At the end of that, I will invite all my students to share their pictures and reflect on it, and collect these handouts to assess and see where they actually are and if they learned. And then finally, I would probably send home some family activities and family tips. And these are handouts you can just find on the Common Sense Media website. All right, thanks.